So here's a neat little trick. Every time that we've created a sort of variable, before and now, we've had to specify whatever kind of data it was going to be. And so we can say, int x, and then we can say, I don't know, float y and string blah, 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 but we had to like say whatever kind of data it was going to be. Well, there's a way that you can just create a variable and let C++ figure all of that out for you, and you do that by typing out the keyword auto. Now, at this point, C++ will automatically figure out what kind of variable it is. It's smart enough to do this, and so we can type out the keyword auto and just type out the word variable. Just that'll be our variable name here, and let's start giving it all sorts of values to test it out. And so we give it an integer 1, 2, 3, and then we can see out the variable to the screen here, and then it drop down a line. And when we run this, we see that, well, 1, 2, 3 pops up to the screen. That's our integer that we just put in. Now let's make this a decimal. Let's make it a 0.45 and run this, and works flawlessly. 1, 2, 3.45. We can even give it characters and strings. And so here's a demonstration of a character. Run it again, and there's our A. All of this in the same variable. So let's maybe give it a string this time just to demonstrate it, and run it, and there's our string. Same guy, variable, doing all of this heavy lifting for us. And just for completeness sake, let's throw a bool in there and give it the value of true and run it. And there is our 1, indicating that our statement is true here. And so this auto keyword will generate a variable that's capable of handling anything that comes its way. And so this may be useful in cases where maybe you need to create a variable to store some sort of user input, and you don't know what that user input's going to be. And it could be a number, it could be a float, it could be a string, it could be whatever. And so you can just store that into this auto variable there. To be honest with you, though, this isn't all that commonly used. It makes it unclear and ambiguous to future readers of your code what this variable data type is going to be, and well, that takes away information. So generally you would actually just specify what the variable is going to be. Plus that allows you more control, because say that, for instance, the user enters in a 1.23, but maybe specifically in your program, you don't want such a small decimal place stored as a float. Maybe you want that stored as a long double, something capable of handling many more places of precision. But now C++, because it's just a small float variable, will opt for a float, since that's capable of handling this number. And so you should really opt for having the control over the program instead of allowing C++ to take control over the program. But there are reasons for portability, and reasons for you honestly may not know what kind of variable you're storing here, and then you would use this auto keyword instead. Now, one other caveat to this is that, well, they update C++ every several years, and they add new functionality to the language. It's a living language. And so there's different versions of C++ because of these updates, and you might have to change your settings a little bit to get this auto keyword to work, because this auto keyword did not work before 2011. It was part of the 2011 update to the language. And so if we go up to settings here and we pick compiler out of the settings, you see that we have different versions of C++ as it was developed over the years. Here's the 98 version, here's the 2011 version, the 14 version, the 17 version, etc., etc. And for this to work, you want to pick the C++ 11 ISO. This one right here, make sure it's checked and hit OK. And then this should work if it wasn't working for you before, because this was part of the 2011 update. Now, an additional note on these updates here is that when you're writing your code, the older the update, the more portable your code will be. And the more accepted by other systems your code will be. Because, I don't know, say that you have this system that was written for this company in 1999, well, chances are it may have been written in the 98 update or so. And now you're writing code in a 2017 update, and you may be using keywords and functions that weren't around in 98, and that particular system won't run because it doesn't know what you're talking about. The things that you're doing in your code weren't even invented yet when that system was made. So the older version of the compiler that you use, the more portable your code is, but also the less functionality it will have, because over the years, of course, they add functionality to the language. And so there's a little bit about that. Neat little trick. Just wanted to introduce it. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, and see you in the next one.